So welcome, everyone from Tulsa, everyone from Oklahoma City. Today's Thursday, March 10th at 4 p.m. finally. I'm going to go through some introductions. I know it's been a while since you guys have seen us, and it's been a while since we've seen you, and maybe we have some new people in here today, I'm not sure. And then we're going to dive into actions in Tableau. Today's talk will be very technical. I'll be working in Tableau the whole time, building stuff from scratch as fast as possible. So please feel free to interrupt me at any point. If you're like, hey, Sean, how did you do this? Or why are you doing that? And then I can be like, honestly, I don't really know. And then Kent is here to be like, well, I know why he's doing it. At 4:30, this is about the time where I think Kent will probably interject with a way more useful deployment of what I'm supposed to be doing on the screen for you. And then at 4:50, probably earlier than that though, we're going to end with some Q&A and some networking. We've got Aaron Longoria here from Paycom to talk about a couple of open positions that they have. And we can ask him more questions about that at the end. Today's hosts, me, Sean Spencer. I'm an analytics consultant at Interworks. I've been there for about 2.5 years, and largely what my job consists of is I work full remote from my house, and I help clients build in Tableau. They come to me with a data set and an objective, and then I spend most of my day working in Tableau every day. It's my favorite tool. I like it a lot. And I'm also joined by Kristen and Kent. Do you guys want to give quick intros?
Okay. Hi, I'm Kristen Bivens. I'm a senior business intelligence developer with OU Health. I'm also on our Tableau administration team, which means that a huge chunk of my time at work is spent not really developing in Tableau. I still get to do a little bit of that, but more so doing server maintenance and helping other people troubleshoot their Tableau problems.
Cool. I'm Kent Sloan. I'm a team lead here. So Sean's on my team, and we've got a group of people that are helping people implement things in Tableau. So it's a variety of stump the chump with creating content, Tableau server issues, and those types of things.
All right. Yeah, so like I said, the plan today is actions, the basics. So I'm going to go over the simple deployment of the handful of actions that are available to you on a dashboard. Then I'm going to talk about one of the more complicated use cases. It can get a little confusing, a little messy, called swapping sheets. Then we're going to do a little bit about sending you to a URL, which I'll explain later. It's very cool. One of my favorite things to do. And then we'll have networking with Paycom at the end. Some things to think about is Tableau Conference does have dates announced. So as far as we know, it will be a mixed event in person and virtual. And it starts May 17th. It will be in Las Vegas, everyone's favorite place. And like I talk about every meeting, there is a virtual event calendar where you can go view different user groups. So since most user groups pivoted to a virtual model, at the start of 2020, you are free to attend user groups outside of your geographic area. They also have user groups based around specific interest groups like healthcare, like sports and entertainment. They're all very cool. And lastly, I'd like to again mention that we do have open office hours for everyone in the user group. So if you have a Tableau problem or challenge that you are just struggling with, feel free to email me, Kristen, or Kent, or all three of us. And I can definitely carve out an hour or two of time to sit down and try to solve whatever issue you're facing. And dates to look forward to. So we have pre-planned events in May, July, August, and October. May, I've planned a live data working session. So I intend to pull open an interesting data set and from start to finish, build out an interesting dashboard with the group. In July, Kristen is going to walk through a dashboard delivery workshop for us. And what we mean by that will be determined later, but largely around creating something that's going to have a lasting impact on users. In August, Kent is going to talk to us about new features. And then in October, we're going to have a blended, a shared presentation of common problems that we've run into in Tableau. That's all I know about the plan, things to talk about, and dates to look forward to. Kent, Kristen, anything to add? Did I miss anything?
No, just saying that I'm going to talk about how you present dashboards to end users and things like that, how to get it productionalized and evangelized.
Fantastic. All right. Let's do actions. I worked tirelessly to build you this most glorious Tableau workbook that'll guide us through the rest of our conversations. So I've broken this dashboard into 4 sections. We're going to start at the top left and just talk about what. Oh, I have this annotation tool. So I need to stop. Talk about the different things that we can do with actions. So where are actions? If you come to the dashboard tab at the top, there's this guy called actions. He does have he has a shortcut, Control-Shift-D. I would be surprised if I've ever used that. You can see that I have a couple of actions built in here already for one of the other sheets that we're going to work on. But we can add actions in here. So we have things like filter, highlight, go to URL, go to sheet, changing a parameter, and changing set values. So we're going to talk about some of these that I use more regularly. And the first one I want to talk about is filter actions. So in this container that I've built, I have two sheets. One is technology, furniture, and supplies. I think these are called categories. And over here, I have the subcategories. Yeah, category and subcategory. Now, the easy thing to do is just to click on this sheet and say I wanted to filter everything by these categories. I could click this Use as Filter button. But what it's going to do is it's going to apply this filter to the entirety of my dashboard. So if I click Furniture, all the sheets on my page are going to filter each other, all based off of office supplies, technology, or furniture. But if I wanted to be far more explicit with my filtering, because I wanted to keep the filtering to these 2 sheets, I would go to Dashboard, Actions, create a filter action. We're going to call it our first filter action. And I want to target my sheet called Filters 1. So I'm going to uncheck everything else. And how do I want this action to happen? I can have it happen on a hover, on a select, a menu selection, or a single select only. I'm going to say select. And I want to target everything on this page. I'm going to leave all of this selected. No, I don't want to target everything on this page. I want to only target filters 2. And when I clear this selection, I want to show all values. I want them all to return. And then I'm going to hit OK. So here's our filter that we've created. Now, when I come in here and I select technology, we're going to see only that this sheet is filtered. Kind of fun. All right, moving on. URL actions. So there's a lot that you can do with URL actions. One of my favorite things to do is create buttons that send people to websites. So let's do that. First, we have to have a relevant web search that we like. Oh, here's me sending a bunch of emails to all of you about all of the mistakes I made today. So maybe I want to embed this URL in the sheet. So if I copy the URL from this Tableau support page about, first I have to remember what this sheet is called. It's called URLs. Really good naming convention by me. We're going to add an action. We're going to say go to URL. And I want this action to occur when I click on URLs. So run action on select. And URL target is a new tab if no web page object exists. And then you just paste the URL in there. And I hit OK. Now, if I click on this, it kicks off the URL action. And you can see the new tab is opened. Kind of neat. Another type of action that we can create. What did I name the sheet? Mail to. So the fun thing about these actions is that they do keep most of the standard URL feature, like action features that are known across many platforms. So you can do go to URL. And we can name this one mail to. Ooh. Control A, he says. There we go. They're all selected. And now they're all gone. Mail to is the one I want, and I want it to be on select. And I can type in mail to. And then I can insert a value. The value I want to insert is a customer email. And I can hit OK. So now when I come to this sheet and I select Sean Miller, it's going to kick off an event that reads my machine and says, whatever your default mail app is, I'm going to pre-populate an email to this person. You can also include a subject and a body in that kickoff email. Kind of neat. All right. Let's talk about changing a parameter value. So down here, I've got customer segments and I've got regions. Over here, I have a parameter. And maybe I want this region display to be filtered by the appropriate segment. So I'm going to go to actions. I'm going to create a new action. I'm going to say, let's change a parameter value. And this is going to be called, I don't know. Parameter change. We'll come in here, we'll select everything, turn it all off, and select this one. I want this to run on select, and I want to target my segments parameter and my source field. So where do I want it to get its information from is this segment field. It's a string, so there's no aggregation required. In clearing the selection, I want it to keep its current value. So now when it's set to corporate right now, but if I click customer, we're going to see that segment change. And we'll see these charts change. So now we'll see sales by region split by the different segments. It's a little bit more of an interactive way than just having someone do a drop down. All right, and the last basic action type we're going to talk about is adding values to a set. So I'm going to, again, go where we always go, actions, add an action. And I want this action to change a set value. And the value, okay, so where do I want to click? Is sets one on select. Target sets my subcategory set. And running this action will add values to the set, and clearing the value, the selection will, you know what, let's say it removes them. So I created our action to target this sheet. And I said, when something is selected from this sheet, add it to the set. So maybe we're interested in chairs and tables and copiers and paper. And so then you could use this set to filter the rest of the view if we wanted to, in a way allowing people to, your users to select the items from the list that they're most interested in. Questions on basic actions? Nope. All right.
No, if no one else has questions, I want to give the users a chance first.
All right. Oh, go. Sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was curious about maybe explaining a little bit more on the parameter value and maybe just like explaining more on the use case for that.
Oh, sure. So we're going to get deeper into the use case on parameter value changing when we get into sheet swapping. But right, yeah, to your point, this could just be a filter action, right? Is what I could have built here. I could have used this as a filter for this over here. But parameters are particularly useful for when we need to ignore the data type. And you'll see what I mean by that in our next example. I know that might not be helpful to you like right now.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Kristen, did you have something to add?
Yeah, I have a question. I like how I'm a leader, but I have a question on the filter
That's fine.
actions. There, when you go in to actually edit, can we go in and edit the action? There's a button that confuses me, and I want to ask about it.
Which one?
Here, when you go down to the basic, it's the target sheets, and clearing the selection will keep filtered values.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you want to clear the selection, but then keep it filtered?
Yeah, for something like screenshotting, right? So right now, if I have this selected, this is what the sheet looks like. What? Come on. Right, so you see how these top ones are grayed out, and this one is what do you call highlighted? Yeah, so if I hit escape, or yeah, and clear that selection, this whole thing returns. But if we change that button to be keep filtered values, I'm going to highlight this, or I'm going to select it, and then when I clear it, this table will remain filtered.
So it's if you don't want to ever see the overall view and you only want them to load that view filtered at a single level at a time.
Okay, that makes sense. That seemed ridiculous to me. That makes sense. And then really quickly, I want to roast you for the fact that these bar graphs have no context, and I don't know why storage is bigger than fasteners, but I'll be okay.
Well, you're not meant to know. It's top secret information. All right, cool. Let us move on. I'm actually going to skip over to the URL filters. So because I feel like this one is a little quicker than the sheet swapping example that I'm about to do. One of the really good use cases that I find for the URL actions is passing my data values as filters into Tableau server URLs. And so, Sean, what do you mean by that? Well, what I've built here is a list of sales and profit by customer. And maybe you have this type of view, but you also have a different dashboard entirely that already exists on your server that has a much greater detailed breakdown of the performance of these clients or salespeople or whatever they are. And you wanted to take a closer look at Christopher. So the action that I have built here is that if I click on Christopher, it's going to kick off a URL that is embedded so this Tableau workbook is published on my local Tableau server, and I've included a filter on the end of that URL. So when I show up at this view, it's already filtered to the person that I selected. And so if I come back and I click on Ken, that same view is going to open on my Tableau server, but it's going to be pre-filtered to a specific individual. Kind of neat. How did I do it? Same way, pop open the dashboard actions. And this one is called, I think I called it URL filter. Yes. I wish I could resize this sheet so that you guys could see it a little bit more clearly. But I've targeted my sales and profit by customer. I've set it to select, open a new page. And I just went and copied the URL to the specific sheet. And after the question mark, you just put the dimension name. So this is what I put on the end. The dimension name is equal to the value of customer name that you select. So that the first item being really familiar to like what we put into table calculations, and the second item very familiar to what we use on the insert button. And in that way, we're able to pass things through. You can pass multiple filters from a selection like this. So if we wanted to include like year or category, those could also be passed through. Kind of neat. All right. And now we're going to get to hopefully answering Matthew's use case question about how would we use parameter switching in a more meaningful way. So I've put together this simple dashboard where I've created some buttons across the top that when you select them will show sales split by different dimensions. So here I have sales shown by state, by category, and by date. And by clicking on these different buttons, I can change between them. And the button is going to change colors to let the user know what they have selected. How did I do it? I used 6 different calculated fields and a parameter action. Kind of neat. So let's dive in to how I did this. I think we should just recreate it. What do you guys think? I think we're good on time. I should be able to redo this quickly. Let me put myself to the test here. Kent's like questioning. Kent looks suspicious that I'll be able to do it. Didn't know. All right. Let's call it new sheet swap page. We have time to fix spelling mistakes. We have to rush. What are the things that we want to show, Kristen?
Oh, region. Oh, no, down there. I like profit.
Yeah, we love profit. It's the best.
Yeah.
And let's do it by ship date. Yeah. No one likes lines. Here's some bars. And let's make them a nice green for money. Call it profit by date. Looks good. Let's duplicate it. And maybe we don't want to see profit by date. Maybe we want to see it by, what did you say, region?
Yeah, region.
You know, I actually don't think that I ported region in properly. Yeah, all I have is the United States. Yeah, that's no good for us. I have these this region people.
On there.
There we go. That's the more appropriate region. What is this region? It's the same. I don't know my data source. And let's do one more.
I mean, category.
Yeah, category is good. All right. Let's change the colors and we're good to go. So on our new sheet swap page, let's get a vertical container out here and let's cram our views into it. Nice, looks good. Okay, so how do I show only one of these at a time? Well, I need a parameter that tells me to only show one at a time. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create some a parameter to include the different selections that we want. Now let's call it new sheet swap. And we're going to make it a string and we're going to do a list and we're going to say date and we're going to say region. And then I'm going to mess that up. And then we're going to say category. And then I need to add a space up here where we're going to put some buttons. So now I need a field for each of these items. Luckily, I already have one for date. And so I can just take that straight to text. And I think I need to have, let me go look at my other book. I really messed this up. I think I have to have a index on here. Yes. There we go. New date button.
Is the date button calculated field you made literally just say, is it just a column that says date for every single entry?
Absolutely it is. Yeah, so if you think about our data structure, what's happening right now is I've created a field. Yeah, so, you think about your data structure, it's this real big table. We've created a field called date that is just the string date all the way down.
You could, if you had to run multiple buttons, just have like a second data source that was just like 4 rows long in Excel that has the names of your buttons, and you just paste that in. And use
Yes.
that to run your data set if you did want to run it through this one. And the index he's using here is just to create the backdrop around his button. It's not functionally required. That's a formatting feature. So you
That's
could do it
correct.
without index and like put shading on the sheet, for example, and use padding to create the same sort of effect. There's multiple ways to do that.
Oh, whoops. And then what did we do? We did region. All right, so we've created calculations that maintain the text for our region, new category, and our region category and date buttons. We have created a parameter that contains those items as a list. And we have smashed our buttons and our worksheets into a dashboard. So now I need to create the action that is going to allow us to change that parameter value. So I need to say actions, change parameter. On the selection, of the new category button, I want to target my new sheet swap parameter. And I wanted to keep the current value when I clear it. So this is the new category parameter. And then we're going to make two more. New region parameter. Oh no. On select, target, new sheet swap, region button, keep current value, and add action to change parameter. And this will be new date parameter. Oof. Let's see. Oh my gosh. What am I doing? Source field is there we go. This list is based off of the things you have selected, so it's overflooded. Select. Okay. All right, so now I have my actions in place. And now I need to make these sheets. Now when I select these sheets will come and go, and I'll show you what that means. Let's see. Where is our new sheet swap? Let's show that parameter. And then when I go back to my dashboard, actually, I don't know that I needed to do that. New sheet swap. All right, so it is set to date. And when I click one of these, we'll see it change to region and we'll see it change to category, but that does nothing to these down below. So now what I have a little bit of work to do is create some true false values that are going to display or hide these. And so I think I have some already for date. So let's duplicate this. We're going to call it new date. And we're going to say, where are oh yeah, I just use date button for this, right? Yeah, where our date button is equal to the new sheet swap parameter. Then I want to show this sheet. So that's our new true false. And duplicate. Oops. New category. So we'll say category button equals to new sheet swap. And then we'll need to make a new one entirely for region. All right, so I'm on the date page and my parameter is set to date. And if I bring out this true false on new date, I'm going to tell it to keep true and hit apply. And then I'm going to go to my region and I'm going to show that parameter again. I'm going to set it to a region and I'm going to grab the region true false. I'm going to say keep the true. I'm going to go to category, show parameter, category, new category, Keep the true. I gotta hide these titles. Sneaky. And so now we don't need nearly as much height on this dashboard. We'll probably shrink it down quite a bit. And we can see as we click these buttons that it's going to swap out our sheets. Now, I went through that in record time. And just to build out the example, in my more complete version, I have a sheet here that's just piping in the parameter name. So sales by date, sales by state, sales by category. And then I also just use those true false fields on the color to say if no, then brown, if yes, then match the color of the visual. Questions?
So it's really not swapping out or hiding or not hiding sheets. It's just that the data on that sheet when the parameter selected goes to 0. And so everything disappears and then it auto fills to nothing.
That's correct. So if you think about it, in this vertical container, I have 5 sheets. One of them will always be on display as it is the title. And then these other 3 are going to either show no data and one of them will show some data.
That's 4 sheets. Yeah.
Yes. I like adding the color changing to let users know. It makes it feel a little bit more clear that you've selected one of these buttons.
Hey, Sean, I have a question.
Oh, good. Trevor.
Beautiful. All right. So if I wanted to add a filter to only one of the sheets that are on here, how can I make that pop up and go away with that specific sheet? Is that possible?
Oh, to hide a filter?
Yeah. But like whenever I click on the like a certain like button for the sheet, like to have a specific filter come up and go away when I select the next sheet.
Yeah, Trevor, great question. A lot of people ask for this in Tableau. They say they want filters to be able to come and go, right? So like if certain selections are made, they'd want filters to be displayed. And if they're not, then they'd want them to disappear. And I don't know that there's actually a really good answer to this, but there is an answer that exists, which involves floating objects on the screen. So what I have done in the past is grab a horizontal container and I will put my filter, I'll put like an indexed tab in there. And then I will go grab a filter so my Tableau can catch up. Maybe, yeah, it's a filter on the sum of sales. And it looks like it's ended up in that container. I will use that true false value to expand or collapse that container, and it will exist off the page.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Interesting.
In the same way that we're expanding and collapsing these sheets here, you could expand and collapse this blank sheet here. And when it collapses, that filter flies in and it flies out. Now, the dangers with this is that anything that exists in the space behind your fly-in is now unusable. So you have to make sure that you have real estate here, that no one would ever need to click in that space. So for me, like, it would be dangerous because I would need to design my filters to make sure that this bar never comes up high enough that someone would expect to click there, right? Gotcha. So maybe I would land it somewhere up here. I might fly it in from above or fly it in from the side.
Cool. Okay, awesome. Thanks. That's cool.
But don't do that.
Oh, okay.
You didn't see it from me.
You're right. I didn't. Thanks, Sean.
Yeah, of course. All right. Well, if there are no other questions, and we can move on to talking to our friends from Paycom. So Aaron, if you want to, yeah, can you tell me a little bit about the position that you guys have and what you might be looking for?
I guess you joined, right? Is this my point of the presentation now?
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I had to jump back in. I had to start another meeting for somebody. You know, gotta love Zoom, that sort of thing. So,
Really,
well, first and
I've
foremost,
had a lot of fun with Zoom today.
I'm glad I'm not the only one there. Well, first, thank you for letting me join. It's always really neat to see other, I guess industries and other, people that are, doing different work than myself, like be as passionate about what they do as I am about what I do, right? Recruiting and talent acquisition right there. So thank you for inviting me into your space. That truly does mean kind of a lot to me. Well, I won't make this, too long. Really just to kind of introduce myself. My name is Aaron Longoria. I'm a senior recruiter over here at Paycom. And basically, kind of what I do is just kind of get some good talent to come into our organization, to join our team, but even just kind of networking, right? Even if there's no interest in joining Paycom, I'm always looking to kind of expand my network and seeing what I can, kind of do for you as well. So just to kind of briefly touch on maybe just some of the things that we're looking for, and then we'll just kind of open it up from there. I want it to be as casual as possible. I think the immediate need is we have a few business intelligence roles, one specifically within our tax organization. Now, you don't have to know about taxes. I think it's just the name of the product and the name of the group, what do we call it? Basically just trying to get data from multiple different sources in order for our kind of our C-suite, maybe like -1, to make decisions about what directions that we need to go with the product, what our customers are saying, what are we missing out on, and so somebody can kind of speak eloquently using data and allow the business to make those data informed decisions. So that's kind of what we're looking for in a nutshell. But of course, happy to answer any questions about either what I do, about Paycom, anything else that we got going on. Again, I don't want to take up too much of your time. It's toward the end of the working day, and I understand people want to get home. So if you're not already home, so yeah, there you go.
Cool.
That's me. That's your spiel. That's
Yeah.
Paycom.
Aaron, I heard that
Okay.
Paycom is a Power BI shop. Is that true?
That is, and now I know that's kind of a dirty word in this.
You're
in this
treading
user group.
in dangerous
Yep,
waters.
I know.
Aaron.
I know. I had to kind of confirm that. But no, I think it's just anybody who's familiar with some data visualization tools. Like we're always looking to kind of network and chat.
Trevor is a huge Power BI proponent. He's a number one Power BI fan, and he's attended this meeting.
I do love me some good Power BI.
Well, there you go. Yeah. What's up, Trevor? How you doing?
Aaron, Aaron,
Yeah.
what's the best way to reach out to you? Is it through LinkedIn maybe, or is it your email?
LinkedIn's a great way. What I'll do is I'll put both in the chat.
Okay, cool.
Happy to have any sort of conversation about Paycom, or if you just want to just chat about what we got going on. Maybe if you know anybody within your network that either might be looking for a role within data and analytics, or just looking for a position just normally, or just want to network. Happy to kind of stay connected. I don't know how much we really want to go into this, right? Because this is y'all space.
Oh sure, yeah. I mean, we're getting close to wrapping up. I'll ask you one more question, unless anyone else has any questions. So we'll give it a minute if anyone has a question that they want to post or ask.
Ask yours and I can drop it in the chat in the meantime.
Oh, you yeah, I should go ahead. Aaron, what is the best Paycom story you have? That campus is wild. You guys have to get into some like, what do you call it, shenanigans.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean, prom.
Yeah, I don't know if I have any like big Paycom stories yet. I mean, just full transparency. I've been with the organization for going on 4 months, right?
All right.
So I'm like,
You've missed the
I am
proper holiday
just-
parties then, where they had like third
I
April
know
wine play or
I
something.
missed those parties. I definitely heard about Paycom prom from a couple folks that they brought in some. I don't know who they brought in, some guest stars, and I want to say Flo Rida, but that might be just I don't know if people who watch the show Silicon Valley, you know, they brought in Florida for him, so that might be the case. I don't know.
I can attest that it was Flo Rida. I actually went
There
to
you
it
go.
with my friend who used to work at Paycom. So.
Oh, perfect. So there you go. Yeah. Well, that's perfect. Yeah. So maybe they'll do another Paycom prom. I don't know. Who knows what they might do. So I think then I have some homework next time I attend this user group. I got to come back with a story. I think that might be what my gift to you.
I look forward to it.
So and then yeah, and then of course, you know, for me to pass along anything, how does one join this group, right? You know, kind of how can I help you, you know, kind of spread that, at least, you know, we're a Power BI shop, but the Tableau,
yeah,
the
of
Tableau
course.
gospel.
Yeah. Our the user group link that I'd sent you before it's open to anyone. Anyone can come join, anyone can come hang out, contribute. More than willing to help anyone willing to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Yeah, I'll definitely pass that along. So hopefully we can just stay connected. All right. You know,
Yeah,
if
absolutely.
you have any questions, if you know anybody in your network looking, or just kind of want to pass them, have a conversation. Sean, thanks again.
Yes, of course.
I think this has been great. I know we're excited to kind of get out in the marketplace a little bit more than we already are. So
awesome. Thanks a lot, man.
You're welcome. Thank you. Yep. I'll stick around
as
for
far
this
as
and close it out.
Yeah, as far as other opportunities, the only other active position that I think they're looking to fill is a friend of mine who works at Leidos, which is a defense contractor, works largely with the FAA. I think they have some open data scientist positions. So if you're into data viz and R or Python, I think they're looking to fill that pretty quickly. That's the only other opening that I know of. Kristen, Kent, are you guys aware of anyone else like hiring in this space?
Somebody just mentioned the library system, looks like, in chat.
Yeah, data analyst position. Miranda, would you be open to anyone contacting you about that position?
Just say Google the Metro and position and find the posting. But
Yeah. Oh, cool. I don't know if people have other questions. Well, cool. That pretty much concludes our meeting for this month. Like I said, send us an email if there's content that you would like us to cover. If you have questions about this that come up later. You know, Matthew, you had asked earlier, use cases for parameters. I hope that my deep dive speed run into building the sheet swapping was the answer for that.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you.
Oh, cool. All right, guys. Thanks a lot, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate it.